Welcome to the next tutorial on electric current. Here I will be discussing about domestic electric circuit with respect to series and parallel connection. Okay, let us take two examples. Okay, no, this is the wrong one. Okay, let me pull the right figure. Here, suppose you have an electric bulb, you have an electric fan, and you have a computer. Okay, I know this is not a very good diagram, but somehow please bear with me for a while. Now question is, if you have to connect an electric bulb, an electric fan, a computer, a room heater, will you connect them in series or connect them in parallel? So let us try to examine. Okay, let us examine the merits and demerits of both these connections, both this series and parallel connection. Probably you know by now that in your home, your all the electrical appliances, they are connected in parallel. You must be knowing it by now. But there are some cases where series connection could also be useful. Suppose during your Diwali festival, when you use those Chinese lamps, chain of lamps, they are all connected in series. The advantage is that you can, in a series connection, you have a series of series of lamps. Okay, suppose for decoration purposes, a good example is a Chinese decoration lamp for Christmas tree, for Diwali, and for other decoration purposes like outside of a building. You can, if you connect them in series, you can control them with only one switch. That is a great advantage. Because with one single switch you can control all the lamps. Since they are all connected in series, so the entire potential difference, that is 220 volts, will be distributed all across the lamps. So the power consumption will be less. So that is most important. Suppose if you have 1000 lamps, okay, and if you all connect them parallel, your electric consumption will be too high. But if you connect them in series, your electric consumption will be less. So that is one great advantage of series connection. Suppose if you're in your electric fan, you connect the regulator of the fan in series. Okay, but in case of our domestic use, for example, when we have couple of lamps, electric fans, okay, a washing machine, other things, we always connect them in parallel. So question is, are we going to connect them in series or in parallel? Okay, this is a symbol for 220 volt AC. This is how AC is drawn, not unlike battery. You already know how to draw a battery in electric circuit, but this is the way to draw a 220 volt AC. Now suppose I connect them in series, hypothetically, and suppose one lamp stops working, breaks. Then what is going to happen? The circuit will break here. Then the remaining appliances like the fan and the other lamp, it will stop working. Whereas in case of when I connect these three in parallel, suppose one lamp stops working, still the remaining two will work, because they are connected individually to this power supply. They are parallel. Still other will still get electric supply, and they will not stop working, they will still work. Okay. So let us try to write few points. Of course it will not be all the points. Let us try to write few points of both these connections. What are the advantages and disadvantages? Okay, in series connection, suppose if one appliance stops working, or if one appliance breaks, remaining appliances will not work because the circuit will break, because they are holding each other's hand. It is like in a water pipe, if you cut the water pipe, okay, the water will not flow again, the entire water will be drained out. Okay, since there is only one single switch which will control all the appliances, so the appliances cannot be individually controlled, they have to be controlled by one single switch. That means either all will work or all of them will not work. Okay, so they cannot be turned on and turned off individually. The appliances cannot be individually controlled, that means they cannot be turned on and off individually. Now this 220 volt is shared between all the appliances in case of a series connection, so they do not get the entire 220 volt. So 220 volt will be shared. So every appliance will be, for example, if you have multiple lamps connected in series with a 220 volt supply, every lamp will glow in a very dim manner. Okay, you will see that they are glowing, but the light will be very dim, whereas because 220 volt will be shared by all, here in parallel connection every appliance will get 220 volt. Now again, one more thing, you know that in series the total resistance will be added up, it will be algebraic sum, or will be just summation of all the individual resistance. So total resistance of the circuit will be too high, so it will create lot of heat also in the entire circuit, it will create lots of heat. In parallel, now let us talk little bit about parallel. We know the parallel connection has lots of advantages. Even if one appliance stops working, which always happens in domestic, because in your house one lamp suddenly may stop working, but you will see that every other light will still work. So for every light you have a separate switch in your house, so every appliance can be individually controlled. Suppose here in this parallel connection I can place one switch for this lamp, one switch for this fan, another switch for this lamp, so I can control them individually. But in case of series it is impossible, because they all have to be controlled by only one switch, and there could be one main switch, which is exactly what happens in your domestic purpose. All the appliances will get the same voltage, so they will work. You will see that every appliance is working perfectly, every lamp will glow properly, they will not glow dim. Okay, that is one advantage. Total resistance will decrease in parallel, and so it will not produce lots of heat also. So these are some of the advantages and disadvantages.